Hey guys, thank you for watching the Slat Rock channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. And if you've already done so, just make sure that it's still active. No matter how talented a wrestler may be, things sometimes boil down to that adage, it's not what you know, but who you know. Today we present you with 15 WWE referrals that WWE fans are probably not aware of. Number 15. Brutus Beefcake through Hulk Hogan. Ed Leslie's wrestling career dates back to when he teamed with Hulk Hogan in the late 1970s, working as the tag team The Boulder Brothers. Leslie and Hogan became so well known together that rumors circulated that they were actually brothers. Although both men were as close as brothers, there was no family bond. Their friendship led to Hogan bringing Leslie into the WWF as Brutus Beefcake, where Beefcake teamed with Greg the Hammer Valentine to form WWF Tag Team Championship pair, The Dream Team. Beefcake has feuded with Hogan and teamed with him both in WWF and WCW. Sadly, both men are currently feuding in real life. Number 14. Diesel via Shawn Michaels. The Heartbreak Kid was fast becoming a top star in the WWF's singles division, despite his smaller stature. However, when bigger wrestlers began refusing to sell for Michaels, he realized he needed a solution. In his memoir, Heartbreak and Triumph, Michaels recalls watching WCW programming and discovering the promotion's 6'10" Vinny Vegas. Michaels asked Vince McMahon to sign Vegas, but McMahon balked, protesting he didn't want to deal with someone under contract to WCW. Michaels talked to Nash, who in turn talked to WCW booker Ole Anderson, telling him he wanted to give up wrestling and return to being a bouncer. Anderson gave Nash his release, and soon Kevin Nash was Shawn Michaels' bodyguard, Diesel, providing the muscle and outside interference needed for Michaels to realistically beat larger opponents. Number 13. Samoa Joe via John Cena. Samoa Joe fans wondered if the Samoan submission machine would ever make it to WWE before he was eligible for Social Security retirement benefits. Joe, who made a name for himself in Ring of Honor and TNA, was finally signed to the WWE in 2015, but his ties to the company go much further back. In 2000, Joe was working in the WWF's developmental territory Ultimate Pro Wrestling, including a feud with John Cena. Joe put in a good word for Cena, and eventually Cena signed with WWE. Over a decade later, Cena returned the favor, suggesting Vince McMahon hire Joe despite Vince's reservations. Number 12. Charlotte Flair via Ric Flair. It's not easy being the child of the 16-time world champion if you're thinking of following in your father's footsteps. Sadly, Ric Flair's sons David and Reed were never able to find lasting success in the ring, but Flair's daughter Charlotte did, quickly becoming one of the top women wrestlers in the WWE. Charlotte went from personal trainer to ring-savvy veteran, working in NXT before a successful career in WWE's women's division. Number 11. Steve Williams via Jim Ross. Wrestling's Dr. Death Steve Williams boasted a solid career in Mid-South Wrestling, WCW, and All Japan Pro Wrestling. Williams, a former right guard for the Oklahoma Sooners college football team, was considered one of wrestling's legit tough guys, and Williams' friend Jim Ross saw potential in a Steve Williams vs. Steve Austin program in the WWF. When Vince Russo devised the WWF's shoot fight tournament Brawl for All, Ross figured Williams would win the tournament, cementing his spot as Stone Cold Steve Austin's next big opponent. Ross talked the WWF into hiring Williams, but things didn't go as planned. Williams tore a hamstring during Brawl for All and was sidelined by the injury, leading to his dismissal from the WWF. Number 10. Dustin Rhodes via Dusty Rhodes. The grandson of a plumber began wrestling in 1988, lacing up the boots in Championship Wrestling from Florida. When Dusty wrestled in the WWF as a polka dot-wearing working man, he asked Vinnie Mac to hire his son Dustin. Dusty and Dustin teamed to face Ted DiBiase and Virgil, but the duo's WWF run was short-lived, and they left the company after 1991's Royal Rumble. Dustin went to work in WCW while Big Daddy Dusty was Booker, and eventually returned to the WWF for his career-defining role as Goldust. Number 9. Hacksaw Jim Duggan via Jake Roberts. Several big-name WWF superstars passed through Bill Watts' Mid-South Wrestling before entering the WWF. These include Jake the Snake Roberts, the Million Dollar Man Ted DiBiase, and the One Man Gang, aka Akeem. When Jake Roberts got to the WWF, he recommended his good friend Jim Duggan to Vince McMahon, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan became a WWF regular. Jake the Snake stayed in touch with Hacksaw even after Duggan was fired in 1987 following an arrest for drug possession, made even worse when he was caught with kayfabe rival the Iron Sheik in the same car. Duggan eventually returned and is now a WWE Hall of Famer. Number 8. Barry Darsow via Bill Eadie. Barry Darsow and Bill Eadie are two wrestlers who have had successful careers in different identities, but nothing as successful as their team as Axe and Smash of Demolition. Darsow had enjoyed a run in Jim Crockett Promotions as Crusher Khrushchev, an American-turned-Russian sympathizer who teamed with the much-hated and feared team of Nikita and Ivan Koloff. Eadie had enjoyed a singles run as the Masked Superstar, working around the NWA and WWF. When the WWF decided to form Demolition, they paired Eadie, Demolition Axe, with Randy Colley, formerly of the Moondogs. However, fans recognized Colley, causing the WWF to regroup. Eadie had worked with Darsow before and recommended him to the WWF to become Demolition Smash. Darsow and Eadie would enjoy 3 reigns as WWF Tag Team Champions, including a record for the longest combined reign of any team. Number 7. Owen Hart via Bret Hart. Despite the size of the Hart wrestling family, Bret Hart was the only member to gain any success in the WWF, starting off in the Hart Foundation tag team before branching off into singles success. Bret's baby brother Owen landed a job as the Masked Man, the Blue Blazer, but his career didn't amount to much despite his solid wrestling skills. Owen's abilities had caught the attention of New Japan Pro Wrestling, but big brother Bret knew Owen needed help to succeed in the WWF. That's when Bret used his clout to bring Owen into the WWF, leading to a program where the brothers worked a bitter feud. This elevated Owen from enhancement talent to the upper card, including a run as a member of Bret Hart's heel faction, the Hart Foundation. Number 6. Terry Funk via Mick Foley. Rock and wrestling era fans likely remember Terry Funk's run in the WWF where he feuded with the Junkyard Dog, and even brought in brother Dory Funk Jr., billed as Hoss Funk, to help him out against JYD. Terry Funk had a short but memorable program with WWF champion Hulk Hogan as well, but left the WWF on a bad note, seemingly ruining any chances of a return. At least, that's what fans thought until Mick Foley championed the company to bring Terry back in 1997 during Foley's feud with the New Age Outlaws. Number 5. Colt Cabana via CM Punk. Colt Cabana and CM Punk became close friends while working their way up the ladder of success on the indie circuit. Whether they teamed as the Second City Saints or battled each other, the two became close friends. Thus, it's no surprise CM Punk put in a good word for Cabana once Punk arrived in the WWE. As Punk's WWE stock increased, he pressed for Cabana to get on the main roster, but for whatever reason, things didn't click, and Cabana was eventually let go from the WWE. Although the two men are no longer close friends, Punk's efforts to help Cabana succeed in the WWE show how knowing someone in the company can get your foot in the door. Number 4. Kane via Jim Cornette. As Slatrock subscribers know, Glenn Jacobs worked through awful gimmicks before he landed the role of a lifetime, playing The Undertaker's disturbed brother Kane. Jacobs caught the attention of Smoky Mountain owner and promoter Jim Cornette, who brought the big man into his territory as Unabomb. When Cornette went to work in the WWF, he put in a good word for Jacobs, leading to Jacobs getting a tryout and a spot in the company. Although Jacobs had to play the demented dentist Isaac Yankem and the faux version of Diesel, his persistence paid off when he landed the role of Kane, one he's played for 20 years now. Number 3. The Undertaker via Hulk Hogan. While Hulk Hogan's films are known as the cinematic equivalent of a garbage dump, Hogan's film Suburban Commando is largely responsible for The Undertaker's WWE career. On his podcast, Something to Wrestle With, Bruce Pritchard described how Hulk Hogan was impressed with Calloway's size and look while working with him on Suburban Commando. Hogan alerted Vince McMahon to Calloway's potential, and Calloway was packaged as The Undertaker, receiving a monster push and winning the WWF Championship just a year after his Survivor Series debut. Sadly, Hogan is at odds with The Undertaker as he claims Taker injured his neck with a tombstone piledriver. Number 2. Liv Morgan via Enzo Amore. Enzo Amore worked with Liv Morgan when Amore was managing a Hooters restaurant. After landing a job in NXT, the realest guy in the room put in a good word for his former employee and Morgan was hired. Amore and Morgan began dating but eventually broke up, reportedly due to Enzo cheating on her. Enzo has been a heat magnet for much of 2017 and rumor, just a rumor guys, has it that one of the reasons is because he cheated on Morgan. Number 1. Stone Cold Steve Austin via Kevin Nash. Steve Austin and Kevin Nash forged a friendship when they worked for the WWE's #1 rival, WCW. In 1996, Nash was main eventing the WWE and he used his pull to help Austin, who'd been fired by Eric Bischoff, land a spot in the WWE. Jim Ross, who was also familiar with Austin's work, lobbied on the future Stone Cold's behalf as well. Austin got in despite Vince McMahon's hesitations about Austin's accent. Ironically, Kevin Nash left the WWE in 1996, forcing the WWE to look for new stars, one of whom happened to be Steve Austin. Well guys, there you have it, 15 WWE referrals that WWE fans are probably not aware of. If you like this video, don't forget to check out our previous video, 10 WWE stars who constantly botch in the ring. Also check out our other high-rated videos by clicking at the upper right-hand corner or down in the description field. If you did like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and the bell icon so you don't miss a single video. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and as always, thank you for watching.